It's me, Alice Cooper. I'm back for another movie review. This time it is Sleepy Hollow, the Tim Burton classic. Made, I think it was 1999. Not entirely sure about that, but anyway, it stars Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci and Miranda Richardson as the evil witch. Also has a few of the normal guys from some of the 80s Tim Burton movies. You see a lot of them in there. Basically, it's more Tim Burton favoritism. Obviously, a few casting choices there were made by Tim Burton, obviously. And anyway, it starts out with with Ichabod Crane, and they discover that there's this person, a townsperson that's had his head lopped off at the neck, and his head is found separated from his body, and his head was not found at all, to be honest. It was taken by a headless horseman, taken back to hell, evidently. Um, anyway, Ichabod go ahead and conducts his little investigation after he's brought into this courtroom, and the judge is actually Christopher Lee. Nice touch, by the way. And he says that you, Ichabod Crane, will be the one that will be brought on trial. And he says that he's going to dispatch him into this town called Sleepy Hollow. And that's the beginning of it has Walter Matthau, and he's riding in this carriage, and he basically gets killed by a headless horseman. You don't really see him actually dying, but you do see his blood splatter across the pumpkin scarecrow, which is kind of scary if you think about it. But later I'll explain who is actually controlling the horseman. We actually get in this story a origin story of the horseman, headless horseman. It turns out that the horseman is actually a Hessian mercenary, and unlike his compatriots who came for money, the horseman came for a love of carnage. And he basically, he had his way, and he went into the woods to hide, from the villagers that were trying to kill him and everything. And and Miranda Richardson was a young girl with her twin sister, and the horseman comes upon them, and he goes, "Shh," and the little girl snaps the twig loud enough for the villagers to hear him, and they go ahead and chop his head off and place him into a shallow grave. So that explains that. And then, as the story progresses, Ichabod says that Ichabod says that the man in question is not a ghost. It is in fact a man of flesh and blood, and he will discover him. And he discovers later on that he has this theory that Christina Ricci her father is the one responsible for, you know, is responsible for dispatching the horseman, the headless horseman, and it turns out that he didn't like that too much, and so she was you know, pretty distressed by that, you know, by what he wrote in his ledger, and so basically later on, Braun is like this suitor of Katrina's, and he attacks the horseman, the headless horseman, and he actually wasn't after him, and he says that he'll get him anyway. And he, of course, kills Braun. And you know, the girl is not actually all that. Her heart is not broken, and she asked Ichabod if she thought she was wicked. And so later on, Ichabod visits this little house in the woods, and he finds Miranda Richardson's twin sister growing up inside of the house, and she asks for her help. And much later on, Miranda Richardson ends up basically, you know, having her own little making out session with one of the villagers, and Ichabod sees this, and she cuts her hand with a knife, and the guy freaking drinks some of it from her hand. That's just sick, man. Anyway, later on, the horseman is dispatched to basically wipe out everybody in town, basically, including Katrina's father. He's actually one of the last that gets, you know, killed by the horseman. And there's this young boy that has his father killed by the headless horseman, and he says that he wants to help out Ichabod with his investigation because he wants revenge, evidently. Young Mathis, I think that's his name. And they come to the scene where the windmill is basically on fire, and that's a really great scene, by the way. And basically, we find out that actually, all along, it was the evil witch, you know, duh, that was responsible for dispatching the headless horseman. She says that she grabs the skeleton that she took from the horseman's grave, and she says, "Come for Katrina." and the horseman comes out of the tree, you know, with a sword unsheathed, and he gallops out of it, and he comes to come kill Katrina, and basically they have this really great chase scene. I don't really want to get into too much detail about it. I don't have a lot of time left. And Ichabod grabs his skull, and he throws it to the horseman, and the horseman puts the skull back on his head, and his flesh, you know, grows back, and we see that it's obviously Christopher Walken, and he's got these really sharp teeth, and it's really scary and stuff. And he kisses the evil lady, and she's all got blood on her lips and everything, and she screams, and he goes, "Ha!" and he takes the lady with him into the tree, and she screams out in terror as she has her hand actually sticking out of the grave, out of the tree, which is really scary, by the way. And it's got this a lot of really good scary stuff in it. Anyway, it ends with Katrina and Ichabod sharing the beginning of the 1900 year together, riding in a carriage, and they ride around for a little bit, and they have young Mathis with them, and they go ahead and basically walk off together. So basically, Sleepy Hollow is a great movie. And with good reason, Sleepy Hollow is definitely worth buying on Blu-ray. I thoroughly enjoyed Sleepy Hollow. It is a scary movie that has its moments. I highly recommend it, by the way. It's a great scary movie for Halloween. Anyway, this is Spooktacular in the month of October, so I'm going to be showing a bunch of doing a bunch of movie reviews for Halloween-themed movies, and look for that on my YouTube channel. I don't know how many I'm going to be doing just yet. So anyway, hit subscribe, hit thumbs up to support the channel. Watch some more videos. Share and like, of course. And thank you for watching. See you for my next review. Goodbye.